Hello you, welcome to Geekism. You'll notice that the music is a little bit French. I invite you to relax, pull up a chair as I do this wildly racist accent as we are building a bit of a Parisian restaurant here on our main street today. This is not a complete build, unfortunately. I just completely ran out of time this week. If you don't know, that I've got a lot going on in real life at the moment, and I'm still trying to get gameplay time in, but I've really struggled this week. And also as well, my Planet Coaster time is split between two projects as well. These sort of ongoing ones that I can get a very regular video out each week, but then also we're working on our fireworks, which is coming along now. It's about 2/3 done, maybe a little bit more. The two major screens are completed. The first two sets of fireworks are completed. There's one more set to do. Then I've got to do a lighting pass and a few other little bits and bobs, but overall it's coming together really well. So that will hopefully be done next week as well. But as I'm sure a lot of you are aware, my first child is due any day now, so that's probably going to throw a massive spanner in the works. So there may well be a little bit of a break of videos while we sort of get used to new family life. So please bear with me if the channel goes a little bit quiet. I'll do my best to still produce stuff here, but obviously, the baby and getting everyone sorted and making sure the wife's okay and everything is going to come first. So hopefully it won't make too much of a change to the channel, but we'll sort of cross that bridge when we come to it. Talking of bridges, wow, what a segue. That's what we're building at the moment. This is really like very much the same way as the last build I did on the main street. I kind of wanted to have a little break from fireworks. So I've been working on the fireworks for quite a bit. Fancied a break, spun the camera around from the castle, saw the boomerang coaster that we built there, and thought, you know what, I want to build a bridge across here, and I want it to be relatively generic themes, but it's got the reason I call it Parisian, and we've got this sort of crazy French music playing in the background, or French style music at least, I don't know, that's kind of the feel I was going for. Now, I'm no architect's major, I have not built this in a Parisian style of architecture. This is still me just playing with pieces in a Lego box and seeing what looks good. So it's probably actually looks nothing like Parisian architecture, but I enjoyed it, and that was kind of the feel I was going for. And I think personally, to an untrained eye like myself, it actually looks pretty good. And there's a few different techniques I've used here. One of my favourite things about the Planet Coaster community is they are always coming up with stuff that impresses me, amazes me even. Little techniques that people find, little tricks that people find, little ways of using certain pieces that people find. And this is kind of a little video where I experiment with a few of them. So one of them is using this lamppost piece that kind of fits. I haven't seen this anywhere. This is just something I fell upon, but it fits there really nicely, and it gives you a very nice, neat lamp that you can use there. Because a lot of the other lamps in that style, mostly the pirate ones, are really thick and chunky, and I wanted something a little bit more dainty here. This is quite a delicate build. It's lots of ironwork. It's lots of different sort of styles of bricks. It isn't until you try and build. I think I've mentioned this on previous videos. It isn't until you try and build quite small that you realise how big some of the pieces are. But I think that actually worked quite nicely. That's a window piece there, but turned upside down. I think it actually turned out pretty cool. So we use that to create our railing of the bridge there. Bridge isn't finished, needs a little bit of capping off on either end, but I've left that open, in both physically open and also open to suggestions, just in case anyone's got any ideas of what to do there. But we do leave those a little bit open there to kind of maybe even carry the wall along down the path, or not, I don't know. And once they're done, lining them up here looks a bit weird in zoom when the speed is quick, but basically all we're doing here is lining them off, capping them off with those pieces just in case I don't come back and do anything else, but I'm pretty sure I will, because I'm not quite happy with them. Good thing about this is it's symmetrical, so it's a case of just copying it over and sticking it on the other side. The next thing I wanted to do is this little bit of grass here that goes from the beginning of the tower bridge, tower bridge, why not, let's call it that, and this bridge that we've just built here as well. There was a fantastic video that's come out by the guys who do the RollerCoaster series, which, if you're not watching, by the way, is a really great let's play, let's build even on Planet Coaster. It's a group of three, I think it's three guys, and they have guests in as well, and they're building a very sort of, from what I can tell is a very traditional American sort of smaller American park. It's not a Disney type thing like what we're doing here, much smaller. They're building on a budget, although I don't think they're actually playing with money, way, but they're building with a budget in mind, trying to make it look very realistic. It's really great what they're doing, and also the guys are hilarious. It's really, really good fun to watch. If I remember, I'll pop a link in the description, but you really need to check it out. Anyway, as well as the full series they do, which is Planet Bro Coaster, they also have these little occasional videos they call Bro. Oh man, I've totally forgot the name. I've watched it twice since as well. Bro Tips or something like that, or Beginner Bro or something, I can't remember. It's basically little tips videos, much like we've done ourselves on this channel, but the most recent one they did was about the concept of a thing called nature, which is the idea of sort of part landscaped nature, basically. So neat nature is where the term comes from. I wish I'd have seen that video before I started doing what I'm doing right now, which is a little bit of landscaping, and it turns out landscaping is not my forte. I personally don't think this looks great. Although it's not a bad placeholder, I really need to think I need to work on my landscaping a little bit. And one thing I do in other areas of the park, which is something they mentioned in this video, is probably go a little bit too overboard with landscaping and go for a bit more of a quantity over quality. So I think landscaping is going to be something we come back and have a little look at, and maybe do even like a bit of a landscaping pass over the park, using some of the techniques that I picked up from this video, because it was really, really good. Like I say, I will definitely put a link down in the description to it. If you're not following them, you should be, because it's a great series, but also this video in particular was really great. Anyway, we're doing a bit of foliage. I think it looks quite nice. I wanted a very sort of neat thing, but I didn't want to do a whole flower bed here down to the water, so excuse me, came up with these ideas of flower beds there with a little bit of foliage in between them. Struggled to kind of tie this down into the water. Didn't think it looked too bad here, where it's a little bit overgrown by the walls, but in the middle here I kind of got a bit lost with what to do. Use these lily pads, I think they look gorgeous, but other than that I kind of struggled a little bit with coming up with what to do on the way to the water here. So any suggestions, please pop them down in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts behind what we could do. I mean, one thing we could do is get rid of that terrain completely and have it and carry the bridge along, so that that's an option, but part of me likes the idea of having a bit of a slope down into the water, but I've just thought then a wall across, that might look neat, I don't know. So yeah, any suggestions, pop those down. That's kind of all we do over here. A few rocks, but pretty much now we're going to start on the main chunk of the video, which is our sort of a restaurant area, which is going to be the corner of the one. So we basically finished one side of the main street with this building here. We're leaving the alleyway open there, still to do a little bit of the alleyway there. Like I say, this building does not get finished. This is a very much a work in progress, but literally just ran out of time this week and really wanted to get a video out for you, and it was getting quite long as well. We did quite a bit of footage on this. So one of the techniques that I've seen used a few times that I really wanted to have a go at was to build a balcony on a building, which we have done on the Pirate Restaurant, but here I wanted to have a go at making a working balcony, as in a balcony that the guests can actually walk up to and use. So what we're doing here is adding in a shop, and there's now a balcony space there that they can come up and use. We put in a nicer colour of ground there, something that looks a little bit more like a smaller tile, which is probably more suitable for the balcony. And then we're going to start wrapping it around. That was the best I could do with the path. I spent ages on it, and that was about as best as I could do. So here what we're doing really is masking the path. Basically most of this video is masking the path using building pieces. Here I'm just closing everything and opening the park with 50 people in it, and the reason I'm doing that is because I really want to see what people look like when they come up to here, and what sort of space they've got, whether they get up here, whether they're happy with it, and see what sort of space they've got to walk around with. And also wanted to try out another technique that's actually been around for a couple of weeks now, but it's the first time I've really found a need for it. Something I covered in my pathing tips and tricks video way back when the game first launched, but the video is still going really well. People are still having trouble with paths, I guess. One of the things we found was that bins and benches have collision, so peeps walk around them. So you could use these bins, you could hide them in fountains and things, so you could have fountains that people walk around in the path rather than them just walking through them. Unfortunately, it did mean that people threw rubbish into their fountains, and obviously you're a little bit limited where you can place benches and bins. They snap to paths a lot, and they can't be raised or lowered. Somebody, I'm so sorry, I can't remember who it is, and that's awful that I'm not giving full credit, but somebody found out or realised, I guess, that there is another piece in the game that has path collision and guest collision, which is the barrel planter, the pirate barrel planter. It works just like a bin does, just like a bench does, in that the guests walk around it. Their pathing is built into it, and they walk around it. The good thing about it is that it's not tied to a path. You can place it wherever you like. You can raise it, you can lower it, and as long as it's on the path as long as it's on the Z line of the path, you can change the X and Y so it can actually be put underground so it can't be seen, yet the guests still acknowledge that it's there and they walk around it. It's absolutely fantastic to the point where it's a little bit of a game changer. I know I use that term quite a lot. Oh man, this is a game changer. Billboards are a game changer. Security is a game changer. But this really is. This really opens up some of the builds you can do. Where the guests interact with, and it was always possible to obviously build stuff over paths, but a lot of time people would clip through, or you'd span bins behind them, like we've done in the western area. If you can remember that far back, there's the train station building. There's bins spanned behind that so that people don't walk through it. We can now go back and use this technique with the planter, which is something we'll do, like I say, just in a moment. But first of all, I needed to cover up the edges of this path. So there's lots of different buildings here. There's about 5 or 6 buildings to make this sort of curved, where it follows the path of the that's already there. And I also didn't want another box, with a bit of a varied shape. We use a lot of this red brick that I think looks really nice. It's also quite versatile. There's lots of different pieces you can use, columns and things to make fully different shapes. And then we're using these hedges around here to start to sort of cap in the area. Don't end up going all the way around. Leave that bit in the middle there open for some more benches and tables when we get to them. And then this here, where the path didn't quite reach, becomes a bit of a flower bed, basically. And I thought that was quite a neat way of closing the area off. You've got now a nice sort of flowery patio where people can come and sit. The idea behind this building was very much inspired by a building in Disney on the main street, where you can book a table on a balcony, very much like this one, that overlooks the castle, and you can book it for the firework display. I think it's called something like Desserts and Fireworks or something. It probably has a catchy name, but I can't remember. But you can book a table, you can eat your meal, and then whilst you're having dessert, the fireworks show goes off. So that was really the idea behind this. I thought it worked really well as a corner building, having the restaurants as a corner building, and the balcony, so that people actually come up here and actually use it. They probably could have hidden the shop sort of back inside so that people just walked along the balcony and back into the building again, but I quite like the shops. I think they look pretty neat. I like to see the staff waving and stuff, so I didn't really have a problem with having a shop there, and I think it looks okay. Here is where we start to use the technique of using these flower beds, and this doorway here is very much inspired by a Ruble Trillions build of his main street that he's working on with Commando Santa. Is it? I'm pretty sure that's right. I'm so sorry. All these people that I watch and love doing Planet Coaster videos, but when it comes down to recording and mentioning them, I always get names muddled up, but I'm pretty sure that's who it is. They're doing a series called... Oh, man. I can't remember what it's called. How awful is it? I have such mental blocks when it comes to it. I'm going to find it, because you need to find it and go and watch it yourselves. I've got it. I've got YouTube open here next to me while I'm looking. They did a really nice main street, very much inspired by a Disney main street, even much more so than ours is. Down to the sort of almost replicating buildings. But it's really, really nicely done. They've done a really good start on it, and I cannot find it for the life of me on here. Hold on, that's not it. Where is it? I'll have to come back, I think. There we go. Jubilee Gardens. Of course, it's called Jubilee Gardens, and it's Ruble Trillions, and I'm just going to double check that I'm getting it right. Let's have a look. Yes, Commando Center. I thought so. I got that right. So yeah, one of the buildings in his main street that he's recently done used those doorways. I've moved way on there in the video. Look, I'll catch up in a sec. Use those doorways there to create some really nice bay windows. I just love that door, and I thought I'd really like to use that. I haven't really used that door much, and also with using the planters later, the guests actually nip through and go through that door now, which is great. So here we're building out some tables and chairs. Still need to work on this using smaller pieces to create furniture. I think this turned out quite nicely. I like the sort of cushion that we've got going on there using the chocolate cupcake, and these little metal hook things are so useful. Need to go back and watch some of Uthris's videos, because he is the master at using small details to make tables and chairs and fixtures and fittings. Again, if you're not watching as another person, basically I'm just telling you to go and watch loads of different people, because I'm not going to be making Panic Coaster videos for a week or two. Here you go, look, we can see us putting these planters in here, basically everywhere that I don't want people to walk, and then just drop them down underneath the path, and you can see that people walk. Look at that! How fantastic is that? Basically, we've now got collision in the game when it comes to peeps. Really, really awesome. Totally understand why it isn't built into every part. It would make the CPU melt if it did it for every single part. But yeah, I think it's really good. Talking of CPUs melting, there has been an announcement that there's possibly a fix for some frame rate issues regarding how wall pieces fit together. So if you have a park where lots of wall pieces go together and you're getting really bad frame rates, there might be a fix soon, but I personally wouldn't hold my breath. You know, this game is always going to struggle with frame rates because of all these individual pieces that you can place down. This kind of stuff, you know, unless it's, you know, 32 by 32 blocks like Minecraft, it's going to start struggling when you place enough pieces down, no matter how good your PC is and no matter how good optimized the game is. So here we start working on the base of the building. It's relatively simple actually, but I think I use a couple of quite neat little techniques to make it look pretty smart. I'm getting a little conscious of park counts basically in the park. The frame rate is starting to drop a little now. It's not unplayable by any means. I'm probably getting around about 20 FPS, something like that for the most part, but that's with the park closed and with no rides running. One thing I really want to do is get the fireworks filmed with a decent frame rate before the game starts to really crawl, as I don't really particularly mind the game crawling. You know, I'm really making this park purely aesthetically, so as long as I can get some decent screenshots at the end of each video, I'm not really too fussed with the game, as long as doesn't become unplayable to actually place pieces down. We should be good to go for a little while anyway. And I haven't got the worst PC, you know, it was pretty good when I built it. It's about 18 months old now though. It's for people ask me a lot, so I might as well quickly mention it. I'm using an i7 4770K that's overclocked a little, up to about 4, nothing major, and I'm using a GTX 780 graphics card and 16 gig of RAM, so nothing fantastic, but the combination works really well, and I think I do a lot better with frame rate than a lot of people in this game, but yeah, it's starting to creep a little now. So there we go, there's the main area at the base then, and last thing I wanted to do was sort of cap these little green areas off here. One thing I did forget is to run the path along that we've been using on the main street, so I do actually go back and edit this in a little while so the path adds onto it. But that little doorway there, that's going to become something in a little while. It's something we haven't done for a long time. We've done it once in the park, and we haven't done it again since. It's about time we did, so you'll see in a moment what we're going to use that little doorway for. The actual doorway that guests walk through as well is not finished. We're going to have to do a little bit more work there. Little awkward gap here, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, if you can't hide it, make a thing out of it. So we add on here a little pillar. It amazes me how big some of these statue pieces are, like I said before, when you're coming to build smaller, but luckily those lamps work pretty well. They look pretty smart there, and the size works out just about right. A little bit of topiary, something we haven't really used much, but it's really nice looking, and I thought it fit the build quite nicely. You know, it's quite a neat, like I say, neat restaurant. One of the slightly upper class restaurants this would be. This isn't the you know, if you went to Disney, these aren't the ones where you're going up to the counter and picking up the food behind you. These are sort of sit-down restaurants with full waiter or waitress service. So, a little bit of topiary outside kind of matches that. A little bit of foliage there, mostly like a flower bed style foliage, and we add a little window at the top there to tie in with the other balcony there, and then we add a sign. I knew what I wanted to call it, but I wasn't too sure what the word for corner was in French, so I had to go and Google it. Turns out it's angle, so it doesn't sound great, but I wanted to call it the Red Corner, a little bit of a nod to the Moulin Rouge, being the red windmill. You know, it's a red building, it's on the corner, so the Angle Rouge is the name of this restaurant. I apologise profusely for my horrific French accent. Yeah, here we go. So there's a little bit of footage cut there, I don't know why, but I'm placing down the path here that we're going to carry on probably till the end of this building, then we'll square it off. So don't worry too much about this. It will just finish off here. It's kind of just for the main street, but I thought it should probably at least wrap around the building. And I think I probably need to go back here and maybe curve that a little bit there. It's maybe a bit too straight. And finally we copy this bit over here from the other side just to cap that off. Realise that the flower bed's cutting over the top of it, so I'm just going to have to briefly go back and edit that a little. Again, it's not a massive job, and we can just curve that around there, and again just make it look like it's meant to be like that, which is relatively easy to do. There you go, and it took about a minute or two to just tweak it a little so that it looks like it's meant to be like that, and then just fill in the foliage. A little bit of path missing there, so we just bodge it underneath, which is always good. And here's the last thing I do. I wanted to put a character here, and I wanted it to be not a major character that has their own sort of area. So we're going for the Foxy, the start of the Street Fox Coffee mascot. Also remembers that they have these old ride queue entrances that you had to use before. Now they snap to the path automatically, but back in the day in the alpha you had to use these. I thought if we can hide one of those, it looks like the mascot has a member of staff with them, which always happens. I've never not seen that happen where there isn't a member of staff hanging out with the mascot in case there's any problems or whatever. So I added that in there to make it look like the member of staff there is hanging out with the mascot. We add in a mascot star there, I forget what they're called, mascot spot or whatever, entertainment spot, that's it, just so we can attach that mascot to it, and then they won't wander off. They'll stand there and wave as the people go by. I would like to have stuck her a little bit further back, but couldn't get the path there, unfortunately, so she sits a little bit forward. But there we go, like I say, still got to do that archway, still got to do the roof, a little bit of a detailing pass as well. But you can see it's coming along quite nicely there, lovely view. You can sit out on the balcony and have something to eat and enjoy the fireworks show that is coming, I promise. So there you go, this is going to be the last Planet Coaster video for a little while. Please bear with me, I'll be back as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching, hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give us a like, it really does help out the channel, and if you're not already, don't forget to subscribe. Any thoughts, queries or suggestions, you can pop them down in the comments, and if you fancy chat, you can find me on Twitter. I'm at John T. Sparrow. Please join in with the Geekism community as well over on our Discord channel. You can find the link in the description. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.